Okay, welcome to the start of a new anime review series. This I'm reviewing the series Absolute Duo. Yes, Absolute Duo. Unlike some series, they don't really explain much of the series in just the opening episode. We do get a chance to see the characters of the series. Now, the star of the series is a guy named Tor. He's voiced by Richo Fajardo, who's a really good voice actor. He reminds me of many different, like I would say, like his character design from Lion King TV. Yes, the character's Japanese, but I'd say in terms of the face and the hair, he reminds me of like a lot of the characters I've seen in the past year when it comes to anime. Yes, he is a guy basically who uses a shield. Yeah, the way they explain some stuff here is that we have these things called blazes. They kind of explain the premise as basically as a classroom thing, where blazes are these powers that you can drive from your freaking soul, in the form of weapons. A lot of the time, basically, these are swords, kunai, or in the case of main character, a shield. He's one of two characters who can do this. The other, of course, being his best friend. Now, Tor, basically, they show in a flashback where apparently the school he basically it looks like his family was running. It looks like they were all the students were killed, and one of the students sacrifices herself in order to protect him from another student who apparently went rogue, slicing her back. By the way, this actually references another character. Now, we also have several other characters made debut in just these few episodes. We have Julie, who is voiced by Brian Appery. Yes, this woman who's known for voicing the character Historia Ross from Attack on Titan. And she's also been in My Hero Academia, Death March Parallel FC, Naruto by Smartphone, a bunch of different anime, but mostly just the ones I just named. Yes, she's a very somewhat ditzy girl, and she's basically, in a way, if you see her and the way she acts, she's very stereotypical of how platinum blonde women I've seen in anime, where there's this motion, they're pretty much clueless about a lot of this stuff. They are smart, but they don't take the appearance of it. At least she's not as weird as the character from the series My Girlfriend's a Slutty Virgin. Well, is basically a strange woman. The Slutty Virgin is the proper translation of the title of the series. I refer to in the actual title as My Girlfriend's a Strange Woman. It was a series reviewed last year. It's only the second series I come across where the the female lead of the series, has got platinum blonde hair. And also, it seems as though when it comes to series like this, apparently this is very common for a lot of anime I've seen, like especially in the past year, where a lot of the female leads of the series have got pigtails in their hair. Yes, pigtails. Though for her, basically, she's got like as a braid, she's got bells there. They don't really explain the purpose of that. The first thing you see is Tor walking to his new school, walking through some sakura trees. I know what these things are, because I've actually seen a sakura tree at the UN. You're probably thinking, when did you visit the UN? This was about 10 years ago. My dad and I basically got passes to visit the UN. Yeah, it was part of the thing. It was basically a city pass that allowed us access to the UN. Not to access the main security council per se, just a little tour of the place. It was quite nice to visit the place, and the fact that on the grounds of the UN, there is an actual sakura tree there. Yes, it was a gift from the country of Japan to the UN to plant there. And sakura trees basically are known for basically how when they blossom, their leaves turn pink. That's the term sakura. And you just walk into school and it comes across Julie. Yes, her name is Julie. And by the way, they actually reference this particular scene in episode 3. Believe it or not, for the next episode. So he's walking to school, and he meets up with a girl. Name, let's see if I can find her here. She was, in fact, the very first person he actually came across. Let's see. It is Imari, voiced by Michelle Rodriguez. Yeah, she does reappear a little bit later. Yeah, I see her. She's walking with Tor to school, and then they get to the entrance exam hall. Everyone's like, "Oh, nice, come put chairs," and they come across the wicked headmistress. Her name is Sequoia Tasmo. She's voiced by Felicia Angel. Yes, I am very familiar with this voice actress, and this was probably by far the only person in this whole series, where I actually do have a record of how many series I've seen her in. Currently, as of this series, it is now 22. Yes, though the highest is still Jane Marceri at 30, though she's going to voice a character who's going to make her debut in episode 4, which, actually no, not episode 4, episode 7, which I haven't come across the episode yet, so I'm not going to add it to the list yet. Which, smart on me for doing that. So, she does it oh yeah, basically, in the school, we had to fight each other, and the winners get to become actors. Everyone else is expelled on the first day. So, everyone shows off their powers. We see Julie's power, where she summons twin swords, and we see Tor's power, where he basically summons a sword. Not a sword, but a shield. Very small shield, mind you. Smaller than the shield that's seen. It looks like it's the same size as the one seen in the series Rise and Shield Hero. Yes, it is by far the second series I've come across where, the main character's got a shield for a weapon. Which is quite interesting because shield is a defensive weapon, not an offensive weapon. And he also has another ability that the main character Rise and Shield Hero doesn't have. He can use his fist as a weapon. Basically, he can just use it as a big punch, and whenever he punches anything with his, looks like to be his right hand, if he punches anything, it actually causes him serious damage. Though he held back not to harm Amari, which kudos for him, because even he, it shows the fact he's kind of a gentleman, and the fact he would never harm a woman seriously. He would never seriously harm a woman. That's basically the type of person he is. You can tell that just by the first episode. And then, of course, she just walked away. Don't worry, she'll be back. Don't worry, because I read she has returned for a little bit later, which I have not come across yet. I'm not going to spoil it yet, but she does come back. And then we come to the class. And the teacher, let's see if I can find her here. Let's see. Rito. Yes, Rito. Yep, a woman who looks like a Playboy bunny. Yep, and a lot of students point, hey, because you think I'm cute? You have actually is cute? No, because you have bunny ears. And she also briefly appeared in the actual fight itself. She kind of explains over the course of this episode and the following one, even episode 3, the whole purpose of basically the purpose of duos, the fact people are basically paired up with temporary duos. In the case of Tor, he pairs up with Julie, and she ends up staring at him. And it's explained because the reason why she's staring at him because she has an interest in him due to the punch he basically did. And he explains to her that he can't, she wants him to teach her the punch. And he basically points out, though, he can't, because if she uses that power, it would seriously hurt her. A lot more than him. Basically, he judges this based upon her size. Not because she's a woman, based upon her size and her build. Which, okay, I can kind of buy that, so... And basically, they're put up as temporary duo. Don't worry, this is resolved by the very next episode where they become an official duo in the series. They'll do kind of a minor bit, basically, when they officially register, but that's minor. So, they have basically a sparring match with a couple other students who appear also in the first episode. By the way, they share a room together, and here's the thing, these two girls mistake the fact because they share a room together and they share a bed together, they think they basically are in a very sexual relationship. They're not. So, we have Tommy, who's voiced by Whitney Rogers, and Makoba, who's a very ditzy girl. Yeah, she's very ditzy. And she basically is very weak. She's basically terrible at a lot of stuff. But when they have a mock battle in episode 3, basically Tor sees that basically he develops sort of respect for her due to the fact that she's actually pretty strong. Though her weapon is basically a giant, I would say it's a giant javelin that she basically summons. While her partner summons a freaking kunai with chain. I like saying that. I got the whole thing. I was saying kunai with chain, which I get that from Yu-Gi-Oh! Yep. So, pretty much with that, they have it where in the next episode they try to have his best friend become his partner because they know each other. So, of course, at first he does not want a room with Julie, but he has a room with her anyways. And they get along pretty fine. And of course, Julie wanted Tomy to become her partner, but she turned her down because she chose Makabe basically to be her partner. So at the end of episode 2, he actually goes up to the replica of the Big Ben. They also have a replica of the Colosseum, believe it or not, this place. Yes, I'll explain more about that in a minute. And they basically exchange the oath of becoming a absolute duo, which seems like a marriage vow, believe it or not. And they become official duo. Just like that. And, well, also she explained she's actually from Scandinavia. And she thinks him as Thor due to the fact his name is very similar to Thor. And she calls basically his powerful fist Mjolnir, which I think is so cool. Though it's the second anime I've come across, they've heard of Thor's hammer as Mjolnir. Because from what I heard in the original Norse mythology, Thor's hammer is just referred to as simply Thor's hammer. It does not have a name. The only reason why the name became so popular is because of the Marvel comic character Thor, who uses Mjolnir. Though the thing is, the way they show off Thor in this series, he looks more kind of in a way traditional to the version of Norse mythology, except the fact this guy is basically a brunette and not a redhead. Also, his hammer is kind of like a big staff. It kind of reminds me of Ronan the Accuser's staff. That's what it kind of reminds me of. And this is what she thinks of when she thinks of Thor in the series. Okay, perfectly fine. Now, it's shown that in episode 3 with the teacher, who teaches all this stuff, turns bad and just takes a couple of the students. Yeah, and the way they did the mock battle was quite interesting. These students throw out all the tricks, like using seduction, sneak attacks, stuff like that. It was pretty fun of an episode, though they actually have where he takes on the teacher, which he wins basically just by barely, and also using his punch to destroy her sword, which he teaches some stuff. Despite fighting her, she basically still teaches him some lessons, which become very useful. And she is defeated and supposedly taken into custody for attacking students. And he is not taken into custody because he was acting in self-defense. Yep. And of course, then we have at the end of episode 3 where Tomy and Makabe where they just come to the room and they basically misunderstand when he's injured when Julie's on top of him. Also to point out that Makabe basically sort of develops an attraction to Thor. Basically, he just happens to be at the track and she collapses, so he takes her to the nurse's office. She, of course, basically is surprised at him doing this, but he is basically a gentleman. He just carries her piggyback style all the way to the nurse's office. They don't show the nurse's office, but it's quite nice. Don't see, of course, when you see Julie, we see her sparring for the first time with Tomy. It's really well done in the series, and thoroughly enjoy it. But with the exception of episode 3, you can definitely say not a lot happens in these episodes. Mostly it's like character stuff, not much action per se. You don't get a lot of action. You get like a little bit of action in the pilot episode. You get the most action in episode 3 of these 3 episodes. And these 3 episodes adapt just the first book of the series. And I gotta say, they do a really good job basically keeping a lot of stuff in, despite... Now here's the thing. When they basically have the absolute duo, that happens like a little over halfway into book 2. Yes, even though they have a lot of stuff in these episodes, it's kind of the way some awkward stuff they happen in the series, but tension between 2 characters. But these episodes are fun. I can't wait for basically watching the rest of the series. Especially since I have a new character show up next episode. Yep. Though I'm not going to watch that yet until I read the light novel that episodes 4 to 6 are based on. So probably won't see episode 2 for the series until, I don't know, Tuesday, Wednesday most. Depends upon how long it takes me to finish up reading Absolute Duo Book 2. But these episodes are good. Okay, so that's it for Sigla Review. My next review will be tomorrow. Yeah, this is probably it for videos today because I don't think I have any more videos today to do. No, this is the last one. I was thinking One Punch Man, but I still haven't read new chapters yet, so no One Punch Man today. So tomorrow, as far as I can tell, just expect to see a review for Attack on Titan and possibly One Punch Man. Aside from those two videos, that'll probably be it for tomorrow. Yep. Produce next video. Bye.